Oh my goodness.
That was good. That
Why
was
do I
freaking good.
why do I allow him to subject me to this mess? Oh
Oh.
my God.
All
Yeah.
right. So we just got done looking at episode 4 of the season 2, The Last of Us. This is not our Balls and Bricks review. So Balls and Bricks, if you don't know, we go into deep dive with in connections to the game. This
Mm-hmm.
is only going to be our spoiler discussion based on this episode alone. So if you have not seen the episode yet, go and watch the episode and then come back to this and watch it. If you want a more deep dive that's connected to the game, go and check out our Bottles and Bricks podcast, which is on Spotify, which is on YouTube, and also in other places. So guys, this is a crazy episode. Jorge, I feel like you went through a lot of range of emotions in this episode. Um, tell me how you're doing, because not to say that we don't matter, but I'm trying to get a gauge on. There's a
Yeah,
lot that happened. There's a lot that happened.
no, it. I think I can hold like this episode frustrated me. I think that's the nicest way that I'll put it. No, I think so this episode obviously was very intense. Had a lot of just kind of going back to like episode 1 and 2, like a lot of action. You know, you're I'm kind of noticing how the basically the root system is everywhere.
Mhm.
So that obviously is a problem. The you definitely get a different perspective between um L no W what was it? WLF
Mhm.
and then the Scar people.
Mhm.
You see the deep I guess like blind trust slash faith that the Scar people have. Like when that one dude was getting
Torture.
tortured, I
Yeah.
mean, you almost reach a point where he literally like like he stuck out his hand to get completely burned again. And I think the other dude realized that he can't break him.
Mhm.
Um the part that's like wild was there were a lot of vivid images in this episode. Um, going from like them entering the room and seeing all those people gutted, um, seeing the one uh WLF guy like having 18 arrows in the back of his like back. So it's wild. But when you go from that one room where the people were like kind of gutted and the other people come in, you get this like weird rush of like they're escaping the WLF, which I can see that like very strategic, very all that. But then you get like this horde of like infected that are trying to attack them, and then you know Ellie gives basically like shows her superpower per se of like getting bit, and you get this crazy intense scene of like you go from Ellie basically telling her like, I'm immune to all this, y- like her basically aiming a gun at her for the whole night, and you can tell because in the way that they shot it, like the girl looked like she just did a raging all nighter, but you go from like that crazy high to okay, like I'm pregnant, and then like you get this like let's be honest scene happening, and it's almost my only knock, and I don't know if the game was like this, so this is where you guys can like help me. Like that transition just it just didn't feel correct for me. Like I I felt like that was too much of like jumping of emotions where it just it didn't that's probably the first time that I've kind of I took a step back from the actual show itself. Other than that, though, I mean, this was pretty cool, pretty fun. But yeah, like I'm just like
I agree with you. It
like even I'm even trying to think like even in real like the transition wouldn't happen like that in real like.
No, yeah, the transition was off for sure.
Yeah.
There's moments like this. There's quite some remixing, Jesus Christ. But there's similarities in the game for sure. But I suppose, in short, in the game, it just felt more organic. Whereas the transition you're talking about, unfortunately, it did come off like wait, what?
Yeah, no, and
Like,
I think you hit it. It didn't feel organic. Like it didn't feel true.
No.
It felt like they were just trying to add a scene in there, like force something that just that didn't need to happen. Oh,
I think it's fine, but it doesn't. The timing is off. I think.
So
the timing is way off.
This is what I'll say. Everything that happened within, I would say like 5 to 10 minutes between different scenes, all those different points do have to happen. I'll put it to you like that. Like
that is true.
Dina has to find out about Ellie. Ellie does put herself in a precarious situation to have that happen. Everything that happened between them getting out, like whether it's in the train sequence or whether it was the horde of zombies going after them, all that does happen, even down to them being at a certain point and this impasse of like, crap, eventually, Ellie's gonna have to find out she's pregnant. They even kind of led up to it because, I mean, we knew as the gamers, we knew, right?
Yep.
Like at one point, I think it was Busy and Ronan was sitting there smirking like
I literally Mrs. Busy. I'm like, she's not throwing up because of those dead bodies. So
right. So we knew, but it was kind of like the hints were there, but if you didn't see it, you didn't catch it. It's kind of like, and then they smashed it all into one emotional reaction. And I think the problem with that, it was not necessarily a problem, but that's the issue that comes with transition of game to real life. It's kind of like, what do you sacrifice in that specific moment? Do you wait, right, to tell the next episode when they're about to leave? Or do you wait at the very end of the episode when like Ellie is about to go and like head that way and Dina says, look, I'm pregnant. I want to go with you, but I want you to know the truth, like I'm pregnant, as opposed to it being that same exact moment that one, she stops putting a gun on her, two, she professing her love to her. Maybe the pregnancy could have been left another moment. I think that from a transitional written standpoint, it could have been at the very end of the episode before they make a decision whether or not to go. I think that'd have been a great little tie-off.
I think that would have made, that would have been a little bit more, because I think that's just too much.
Because the last episode, we knew for a fact that Dina liked Ellie. We've known, right? And most of us knew that Ellie liked Dina. It was just like, how is this going to kind of come out, right? And they led these little breadcrumbs, and it would have been interesting if they would have had an intimate moment. It was interesting at that intimate moment, like, that was right after, she had a gun on her. Then at the end of the episode, maybe at that moment, it's like, before they go, like, look, I just want to be honest with you. I'm going to ride with you. I'm going to die with you, but we're not dying alone. Like, I am pregnant. And then they end the episode like that. I think that'd have been a better move.
That would have been a better
because all those things have to happen. And I think it'd have probably been better than waiting until another episode to do that. Because truth be told, it worked in tandem. Like her getting bit and them and their emotions, that made sense. I think those two things do make sense. But adding in the fact of her being pregnant and then like what does this mean? Like we're, I'm gonna be a dad. It was a lot. That was I can say that was a lot. I don't have a problem with it because I know where it all goes. And I also don't have a problem with it because it's really not enough time to sit. I wouldn't be having no babies up in an Armageddon situation like this, let alone, I don't even know if I was Dean, if I would have even told Ellie to be honest with you. If it was me, I don't know if I would have actually realistically told her. But because that's how the game kind of wrote it, those things did need to happen. But just to make it more sense for you, like all the different things did kind of piece of that. Now, the thing that I also say there's a huge difference. It's a difference playing something like this and watching it.
Yeah.
No.
Watching it and seeing it in the confounds of like 60 minutes, that's a lot. I give them credit for them working this remix the way they did.
Pacing, structure.
They did a masterful job on that route. But I think that to Jorge's point, I think the pregnancy part, they could have left that as a bookend in the end of this episode, and it would have transitioned a little bit better. Because honestly, having the WLF being introduced in general was one thing. But when you go and you have my man Jeffrey D. Morgan in the cut in this episode, that was a whole lot in and of itself. That scene, that was a full frontal nudity torture scene that I was surprised that HBO would go that route.
Come on, this is HBO. It's
HBO. No, I'm not surprised at that.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Especially House of the Dragon. Remember,
House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but I'm saying video game show.
That's fair. Yeah,
like this is it's a little different. But either way, I just felt like there was a lot of different breadcrumbs that were here that kind of unpacked it, and they try to unpack it all. And I was hyped because throughout the course of the episode, from the beginning all the way to where we hit this impasse, I was on the edge of my seat. And I mean, it opened with Jeffrey Wright blowing up a whole caravan of his own people.
That scene was
dope. That's definitely one of the best things.
That's why the choice to put the reveal of the pregnancy and the hookup like instantaneous, to me, that's why it worked well for me, because if you would have done that right after, if you would have had them hook up a little bit after that sequence in the beginning, to me it would have felt odd, because the beginning is very much setting up Isaac and the wolf vibe, aesthetic, and quote unquote motto vibe of like, oh, this is what Seattle's like. And then at the end, you bring in, this is the energy that's coming from these two. And it might have come off a little too novella-ish. Like in the beginning, they hook up and then, oh, she's pregnant. Dun, 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 dun. And then that's why I think for me, it felt like, and it's not a new thing. I mean, people have done this before where like, it's just synchronized energy of just like, the feelings are all out. Dina thought she was about to kill the love of her life. She's immune, but she's also hiding a secret. And it's like, all right, all secrets are out. Let's let it all out. And then, you know, I almost said a word, but them getting together. And to me, I like the two different versions, because in the game, the way you experience it is because you're trying to develop connection through gameplay in a cutscene. And that'll help you up with why Dina is ride or die with Ellie up to that point. And with this one, it feels like, okay, you're showing me something very private, something that you've been probably holding for a while. I'm showing you my cards. And I don't know, I dug it. I felt as of now right for me. And again, I just commend the way they broke down this episode structure-wise and pacing-wise. Like, this episode had a lot.
Yeah, because even this is the thing, this scene alone, right, for me as a gamer, was one of my favorite moments of the whole entire live action series. Right. I don't know how it made Jorge feel, but I know how it made me feel. And so I'm bringing up this. I mean, you guys can talk on it, but in the same episode, we got a whole lot in the back half. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of different thread points, and I think it was just, some of it was just a little bit added much. I don't know if it needed everything, because that scene alone was just needed for their dynamics of their relationship. Even, I mean, the actress playing Dina was killing it this episode.
Isabella, yeah.
But I'm talking too much. What did you guys think? I apologize, Jorge. I kind of piggyback off everything you said.
No, but I think it's, I think the part that, like, the reason I'm thinking back on this episode, and the reason I think that whole part just didn't make sense. Like, you have this group of people, like the army that was trying to get them, you know, and then the swarm of infected is trying to get them. But what the hell happened to all of them?
Wait, who?
Like
The wolf.
The infected, the wolf. Like, like they ran into like this little. I don't even know what
Safe
building
zone,
that
you
was.
think? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they ran to the movie
theater.
theater. So they left the. So remember, they were in a subway area.
But why wouldn't they chase them? I guess is more my thing.
No,
Because they have the whole route system throughout, obviously, this whole place. So you mean to tell them that they couldn't notice where they were at? Or like, I guess in my mind, they had this like lovely and wonderful, like, you know, date night in the middle of like
you're looking at like, okay, I don't care what the game
did
or
I'm focused on the show. Yeah.
I'm realistically like, they no way them things would have stopped from that little coil keeping them out. I hear you.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, I don't know. That's how it was.
And then like I hear, well, no, and even the way that you kind of phrased, if them on top of the building finding that what was it, like White Springs or whatever the heck it's called, but that would have been the part where, yeah, like it would have been great for them to like do the little hand, you know, like thing, you know, like holding hands, and her to be like, hey Ellie, just to let you know, like, I'm pregnant.
Bum bum bum.
Yeah, and then like, you know, end scene.
I think that's why they wanted to avoid that, because people, it's such a like part of the playbook of television that they like people do that all the time. It's just like, why don't we just like, and again, for a lot of people, it's a risk of putting all these layers into it. And I think the reason why the wolf and the infected didn't get him, because I'm pretty sure all those wolves are dead. Like it was like,
oh no, them jokers were gone.
It was a fish in a barrel.
Yeah, it was saran. It was right.
At this point, it was just been the infected, just keep it on moving.
I guess my thing is, it's like they all have radios or like walkie-talkies, so you would think that they would walkie-talkie, like, hey, code red in the subway system, like do something. Yeah. And I guess that's the part where I'm confused. Or maybe was that what, when they went to the top of the building, is that what they were seeing in the distance, where like they were blowing up all that other stuff?
I can't say.
Okay,
I cannot comment on that.
Yeah,
but you're on the right track.
I'm digging, hearing Jorge's like putting the pieces together. I'm like, huh?
Because that's how I was feeling when playing the game. Like the questions that he's asking.
That's good questions. They're the right questions.
Can I just say, just to sort of to reinforce what Jorge was saying before, I unfortunately the transition definitely was not working. Like, first off, Dina just found out that, like, in some sense, Ellie is for real, and this is after like a night of like Dina like staying up. She has gone to sleep. She's tense. Okay, the only real thing that should be happening when she finally like it clicks, like, oh my god, Ellie's like telling the truth, is that she should just like slunk over, passed out from being tense for like God knows how long, right? You know, with the flashlight, you know. But so yeah, no, I like, she basically just almost found out that like Ellie could be equivalent to like Jesus or some kind of messianic figure. I'm being for real though. Like, she could be the only one of her kind on Earth. Okay, that's immune for real. It's like that serious. And then add on the whole, you know, sitting on the couch for hours. It just is sort of like, oh, you're all right. Oh, okay. I'm relieved. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm pregnant. Bam, sex. Like, it just feels especially after everything that just preceded in the episode and afterwards, it just they definitely could like maybe just broke it up, put one part there and then put the other part like before the end credits or something. Something could have been done to make the timing better for sure. The stuff with like the, you know, Jeffrey Wright and these other like wolf characters, that's so
Isaac, yeah.
It's all fine, I suppose. And this is not something I ever thought I would say, but I would be lying if I definitely got some like Walking Dead vibes. Now I don't know if that's good or bad yet, but I got a lot of that sentiment watching this episode, which was unexpected. But I will say this was way better than the previous episode by like a large margin, I thought.
Yeah.
Jorge, I wanted you to see this picture. Check this out. Can you read that?
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie to you, Jorge. He's pointing out he's pointing out some interesting. I don't want to call them pacing issues, but
it's not even just off. What he's talking about is not even just based off of the show. This is the story.
Yeah.
Well,
like, this is from a structure standpoint of how the game even functions. He's questioning things that maybe Neil hadn't even thought about. Because in the moment that you're playing it, you're like survival mode, peace for a second, survival mode, another piece for a second. And it's different. Translating that from what was written, what you executed, what was done to you kind of have to think outside the box with certain small little threads. And I think that there are certain contingencies they put for certain characters for sure. Because even again with Jeffrey Wright's character, that told me everything I need to know about him. One, like if he chose to just blow up all those other people, then he's willing to do whatever it takes to get whatever it needs to be done. But then two, the way that he took the guy that was already doubting their convictions and pulled him out, groomed him, and you see who he is later on, what kind of person he is. It's like, okay, he can pull people, and that's what he's about. But Ty, I'm sorry, I hadn't given you time to talk, man. What do you think about this episode, bro?
So, what I find interesting about this episode is, it all feels like even exchange, if you will. Dina finds out about Ellie. Ellie finds out she's pregnant. And I think what it almost feels like a risk and reward kind of situation, because they go through this entire gauntlet knowing the risks that are going on, and she basically confides her deepest secret into the person she loves the most. And Dina turns it on its head, not in a bad way, and says, oh, by the way, I'm pregnant. And I understand from the folks that are just watching it, not understanding, because they haven't seen the game. I had to step outside of my gamer sense and look at it from Jorge's perspective. I'm like, if I actually was watching this not as a gamer, this would probably feel like a bit bad episode for me, because it feels like I got bombarded with things that some of it didn't really feel necessary, especially the intimacy scene with the two of them. And it would feel very forced. But playing, seeing the game, it's like these are things that they have to incorporate in. Now, I don't think they needed to incorporate the intimacy scene right then and there, but it's appropriate, especially if they're trying to do the same story or remotely close to it in the game. So I still like the episode, but it right now, it's not a bad episode. But it's just not in my top, liked episodes. But for what it was worth, it was all necessary, understanding they're trying to move this entire game forward in these few episodes that they have.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's fair, because as a person that played the game and know where the game goes, I have no issues with it, because I already kind of know. You know what I mean? I think that structurally there are certain things they could have put in different pockets, and maybe if you had a longer, how do I say this without sounding negative, a longer season where you could kind of like.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, this is episode 4. We have 3 more left, and I feel there's so much more story to be told.
But it's the third season. It's the third season.
No, I know there's a third, but it's like, how are you gonna wrap up?
You're not. That
was a big talking point for a lot of people, being like,
"You're not gonna." It's not.
Jorge's spitting, and you know what? So Sam, you saw episode. You saw season 8, the final season of Game of Thrones, right? You saw that one, season 8.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so now,
hold on. Before you go there, hold on. What I will say for Jorge, because he doesn't know.
Yeah.
The second game this season is only going to be the equivalent of half of it, of just the second game. This season will not end in any way, shape, or form with the conclusion at all. It's going to be, as far as I know, either 35% or 50% of the second game. The third season concludes it. This is not, I promise you, it's not going to end with any kind of way. I don't even know how they actually going to really truly end it well, because that was one of the discrepancies that I had going into this. I was like, if this is only 7 episodes and you know for a fact you're going to lead into a third season, it's going to have the rest of it, then I don't know where do you stop this? And again, I'm saying this
where's the
somebody having played the game, but I'm just telling you, this is not going to wrap up with like a ending that makes, in my opinion, a good trade-off. Go ahead, Drew.
This is now episode 2 also that we have 0 Abby in it. So you have like 2 episodes.
Right. He's right, dog. I'm telling you, he's on to something for real.
I mean, I can't speak on it because I played the game.
I know
I'm not going to spoil it for him.
No, yeah, and
I don't either.
There's a reason, is what I'll say.
It's like you guys know the reason, but
I do.
For someone like me who's watching this,
I don't know how you're gonna feel about it.
Like completely blind, it's
way, bro.
You kind of start thinking it's like you literally have this character who came in and for better lack of terms, like killed off your main person. And then it's like
feel that pain.
Boof, like disappeared. Like you know nothing about this.
Hold that pain in.
I'll buy you a beer. If I can make my way to your neck of the woods, you make mine. At the end of the season, I'll buy you a beer. And then
hold that pain in and frustration, because I can guarantee you this.
Because I was there. We were there. A lot of us were
there. But what he's saying though about like there's just so much happening, and it feels like a little bit strange that like we're almost very soon about to be on season 3. It just feels like there's so much story that we're kind of like shortcutting. And I know people have fears about this in season 7 of Game of Thrones, and then in season 8. This was the first time, I think, early in the first half, I remember being like, whoa, something's really wrong here. When we learned the fate of the Night King, I believe he was called, I remember being like, hang on, something's wildly off. Like we've been moving way too fast. We're skipping moments that maybe should have happened, So like even you were just saying like
because we're used to gameplay. That's why, like for example, Jorge, this is not spoiling that much, but like you see all those bodies hung up in that building. Yeah. If I was to do the math, it took me a couple hours to get to that point in gameplay, because I'm roaming the city. I'm figuring out like mechanics and whatnot. So that's why I think for a lot of us it's like, wait a minute, like the flow is different, and yet you
but if Jorge saw the marijuana scene, if he experienced that moment, how it happens in the game, and then you compare that to this wild moment in the show where they right before they have sex, that transition. Okay, I have a sinking feeling Jorge is going to say that what happened in the game was more organic, but this doesn't necessarily have to do because the game is fucking 30-40 hours or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I think it's just One story was just told organically better.
I disagree only because try to word this carefully because there's so many people watching this. The route that this is going is not
it's parallel.
This is not the route that the whole story is going to be told.
No.
And that's all I can say without saying too much.
Wow.
There's an absolute reason why there are things that are not lining up for you, and they're not going to line up until you reach a certain point. And I personally feel like that's not going to happen until the third season. It's not.
True.
So what I'm saying is ride the wave.
Yeah.
But feel the frustration. I hate to say it that way because there's a point in the game that when we're on that journey and we took that journey, we were pissed. What's going to happen for you is the complete opposite. You're going to hit that impasse and you're like, finally, I know what the hell's going on. I promise you that.
There is that.
And that's for everyone, what we went through. Everyone is watching this. If you haven't played the game, I'm trying my best to preserve you.
No, listen, Sam is right. What I'm alluding to is different, sadly. But what Sam is saying, that part, we're both saying two truths. I believe. His is more provable on his side, but on my side, it's like I'm hoping I'm wrong. But yeah, no, that is definitely true. There are some things that, particularly with Abby, where you're just like, what in God's name? Like, why Abby? Why do this? So it really does make sense in the end. Whether you agree with it or not, it'll be a different story. But at least you'll understand, like, this is why the figure of Abby was a thing, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, is this?
I think
he's ready for
Crystal. I think we lost him. No,
for Crystal. Yeah.
I think we lost him.
Oh no! All right. So look. All right. Let's break this down really quick. I do think it was some really amazing action. I mean, I think a lot of people have been waiting for this level of action from the first season that we haven't gotten. And I mean, the first episode definitely was high octane gas. I mean, second episode went beyond that. And then now, like, there is no protector, right? There is no Joel.
No.
Tommy ain't out there. This is just Ellie. And I think the first moment where I realized this is like really different was when Ellie was kind of cornered by the guy. And she was trying to play stealth. And she realized, crap. And it was before they got in there. Dina was like, what happens if we get in there and we get cornered? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And I love their relationship because Ellie didn't have to say it. Dina said, okay. And that moment that Dina shot old dude in the head and Ellie like knifed old dude with the neck, I was like, oh, this is gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
And from that moment, it was like, it was the one take. It kept on moving. It kept on going. But it was like, I don't know if you noticed, Jorge, when they got down to the train station, I was like, hopefully they don't see red.
The subway.
No, yeah. As soon as you said that, you just see the little red flare coming through, and I was like, oh no.
Again, I was trying to follow it architecturally, and like I was putting the map of the game. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. We went through the building of the Capitol satellite building. Yep. So I remember we went down that road, but they had an element that they didn't have in the show, but it still functioned the same way because of gameplay. And I was like, and again, as soon as they went down, I was like, oh no. And I didn't say it. And then Sam said it. And I'm like, oh yes, we are. Timing.
The fact that they built these structures, like from architecture standpoint, like I am so impressed. Like when you see like those bodies hanging up, I was like, I played through this area. I know this area so well. When you're in the train station, I know every sideline area where that is, and it's actually worse in certain sense playing it versus even seeing it. But I love how they were able to execute it because it felt like it was an impossible situation in the game. I felt like I could make it through. In this, I didn't think they could make it through. I thought at any kind of moment
you're just watching it,
right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't think there was a way of making it.
Now,
through.
what was the? Because I know everyone here except for me, the guitar scene was very. See, look, all three of y'all
Yeah,
did the
come
same.
on, man. Come on, dog. We can't talk about that, dog.
Because for me, like what I guess what I interpreted in that scene, in a weird way, was the first time that Dina like put down all her walls and actually showed her love towards Ellie. Because just being able to sit there and just take it all in. But I guess for me, I didn't know if there's something bigger significance to that obviously hits you guys a little bit different than me.
So I'll say for me, the person who taught her to play was Joel, right? And when I was playing the game, getting that moment was cathartic. It was kind of like Joel's still here, right? His spirit is still there.
I didn't even think about it that way, but true, because you guys, when you guys started playing the game, you were saying that it basically starts with Joel dying almost immediately. So
no, we didn't have. There was no. We didn't know what the hell was going on, and that man's gone. And half of us are concerned whether or not we're going to quit the game. The other half is like, we want to hate play it, know? And so watching this, right, when you're playing the game and seeing this scene, it's like, man, it's so beautiful. I think the difference with this scene versus the game is this woman right here. She acted her butt off. Yes, Bella can sing. Nobody's business. She's an amazing artist in general. But the actress playing the role of Dina, there's different things happening here. She already knows how much she loves Ellie, right? But it's different showing it. Like, she's, like you said, she's letting her guard down, but she's also showing this girl, like, you're so beautiful. Like, you're so amazing. She said in one line when they were like riding, like, man, like, I was trying to look like a badass. Like, no, you don't have to try. Like, there's an intent there, right? But it was that moment that she was like, she's special. That's what I really got from Dina that I didn't get necessarily from the game, is that we know that Ellie's special, but it's different somebody seeing and admiring something out of something. Yeah. Because she couldn't even really say, she's like, oh, you've gotten a lot better. Like,
well, it was like if she was completely like taken aback from not just the beauty, but like almost like when you see like, your wife or your spouse like do something like just so incredible that you literally just sit there in awe of, like just the whole 9 yards. And obviously like the background with like, all the greenery plus that hole with the light coming through it, like it's very, in a weird way, like angelic looking. But no, yeah, that was the one scene where I wasn't hearing you guys talk about it. Now I can see how that's like almost like you're going through the grief cycle, like, okay, we're okay. Like like Joel's still going to be sprinkled in throughout, the whole series. See, and even this, like, this sounds silly, but you look at this and with her sitting to the side, how she is, and even how she's sitting, I think the way that they shot it makes it so much more intimate. Like you have someone who's literally sitting right in front of her, almost cross-legged, just like looking straight at her.
Yeah.
Like admiring like what she's doing. Like here it's almost like it's like a friend listening to a friend play the guitar. Like, and maybe it's because I have not seen the gameplay and I'm not seeing it like, moving and seeing the cut of it. But I think the way that they shot it, they portrayed like, like her face like portrays just like admiration, love, like that's her person.
It almost looked like she had seen someone has been through so much, and it's the first time in a while that for a second she was in peace. She was
Yeah.
not smiling, but happy. Like there was no
joy.
tensions. That like she was just pure living in the moment.
Yeah.
And I think Dina was lucky to be like, I'm witnessing this, and I'm like, and I'm pretty sure she said, I wish Joel was here to watch this. I wish Joel could see this. And yeah, Jorge, since this game came out, I've never seen guitars the same way. Like after this game, like again, it's with movies. You hear a song, and that song is just stuck with the movie or with a character or with like a franchise.
Yeah, and we had to actually play it too. Like we had to actually play it.
Yeah. That was part of the gameplay.
Yep. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's dope. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the different threads and everything. You actually have to strum those and learn it. You could actually play different songs. Like in certain sense, there's like free play you could actually play. It's actually really dope.
Okay, that's a real cool I guess mechanism in the game. I would not have thought that. I would have thought it would have just been almost just a seamless,
shoot 'em up.
Yeah, just like a seamless cutscene where it's like, cool, play. That's really neat. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that the other thing that happened to me, and I don't know if you guys disagree or not, but this scene kind of came back.
Oh man, I can't wait. Oh man, again, because being a fan of one, I was already like Jorge was saying, like the echoes of Joe and all that stuff. Like I was seeing that stuff play out. Like in my mind, I was seeing 3-4 moments play around the same time just by hearing Ellie sing and play and watching Dina watch her. Like it's fascinating what these characters and these stories do to you when you're experiencing a tale you know already. And in your mind, you're in the moment, and yet you feel the presence of those two other, or those other moments that are gonna like sync again. Like it'll be the talk we've had this far in this episode, this review. It'll be very interesting to look back once this whole story has been told and see. Whoa, where we were at. Again, even that shot of her like tuning the guitar is right out of the announcement trailer, right out of it.
Yeah.
No, it definitely was. I think that even with all the issues, I think this one has so much that it gave us in this episode.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, they weren't holding back. I mean, not to say that the last episode held anything back. It's just they were swinging in this episode. They didn't care. Like some stuff was gonna land or not. They were like, "We gonna swing." But let's give our concluding thoughts and letter grades. Jorge, since you're here, you first.
I think this episode's hard to grade. I'm not even gonna lie. I think progressing the story. I think this is one of those episodes that, looking at it now, it's very confusing to me, and I'm not able to piece all the pieces together. But I think come like an episode or two from now, I'll look back and I'll grade this higher because it'll make more sense. Like that puzzle piece will fit into the puzzle. I mean, I would probably put this as like a B+. I think that one scene for me just kind of took me out of this world, because I think I just got in my head too much. And hopefully once, a little bit further down, like I said, when we kind of see this whole thing from start to finish, it'll be different. But I'm worried for Dina. I think it's the nicest way that I'll say this, because of just because of how this story has played out. Like I don't want to be like too invested in something that may end up becoming like a Joel part 2, now that I know that that's even a possibility.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah, so I think there's just so much that I'm like, I'm wondering what's happening like back home. I'm wondering what's happening with Abby. I'm like, there's so many what ifs. So no, I think this was a good episode. I'm wondering where this is gonna take us. There we go.
That's fair enough.
That's the nicest way that I'll put it. I'm trying to wonder where this is gonna take us.
And I think you also need to give yourself a moment from a traumatic standpoint, because we just went back-to-back episodes, and
Yeah.
for us, we know where this is gonna go. I can't really imagine what's going on through your head.
Yeah.
And I know playing the game again, when Joel died, like I was not good, and it took a lot to continue to play. And even to this day, some of us here still don't know how we feel about the choices that were made in the game. So it's like you're having to deal with it in real time. We're having to deal with the trauma of it. But Drew, closing thoughts and rating on the episode.
Man, oh man, I really need to rewatch this episode, Lord Jesus. But I think it's because I honestly feel conflicted with it. I mean, there's a lot of great moments in this episode, 100%. But I just, for as many great moments as there were, I feel like there was a fair amount, or like there were just some moments that gave me like red flags that didn't exist before. It's kind of the first episode to really give me like a substantial red flag, maybe. Because I'm like, ooh, fuck, is the structure or like the pacing off or something like that? Because I was like, oh, fuck, like should each season have been like 10, 13 episodes? I don't know. It's interesting. But I don't know. I'd probably give it like a 7, maybe like a C plus, something like that. Yeah. There's a lot to enjoy, but there's some aspects that make me nervous.
Wait. You said the last episode, you said this was better than the last episode, though.
It has some moments that made me more excited than the last episode, that's for sure. But like, I'm not saying it's bad, but this is the first time I ever was like, oh man, I'm just unsure about the overall execution.
Okay.
If it's gonna go a way that satisfies me, I suppose.
Okay. I just want to clarify, because last episode I think he gave you like a B.
Yeah, I think.
I think I gave it like an 8 out of 10, like a B minus. It was strong.
Okay. No, it's fine. It's. I don't want to question you.
Both. I don't know. I'm seeing more flaws than like you and Ronan are, for sure. But I've kind of been like this with season 1 as well. I wasn't as like thrilled about season 1 as you guys were, for example. Never said it was bad, but God, I wish more people. I wish I could just like touch someone's brain and just let them just like experience the game in just like a few seconds, just so they can know the game. It's like trying to, I don't know, it's like trying to make a remake of The Godfather. It's like, I don't know if this is going to work out very well. Like, The Godfather is kind of perfectly told.
Yeah.
I get it's a video game, but clearly the quality of the show speaks to just how masterful the game is. Especially as a storytelling device, Jesus Christ. But they took so many wild swings in this episode. It's like, obviously it's entertaining. It's not bad, but it's just like, man,
it sounds like you're more concerned about
it's feeling very season 7, season 8 of Game of Thrones, where it's like there's no denying there's like these bombastic moments happening, but it's like, whoa, like, is the pacing where it should be? Like, is the structure where it should be? You know?
Yeah,
because
like
we could slow down the story a bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much that happens in the game. It really is like gargantuan. Holy shit. And they're telling this bad boy as if like because of budgetary reasons.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is that it sounds like you're more concerned about how this is gonna end than necessarily the episode itself. The episode itself sounds like more give you like warning signs than anything.
Yeah.
But it didn't necessarily say that the episode was bad. What I'll say is that we talked about this before the season came out, and one of the things that I had hoped for is that it was going to be linear. It wasn't going to be non-linear. That's one of the things I was actually hoping for, because I wanted to have more time. I wanted the 5-year gap to give us like content. I didn't want them to try to attempt to do what they did in the game. But now that they've done it, it is what it is. I've accepted it. But just have to trust the process, the way I'm thinking about it. But Ronan, what are your closing thoughts and rating, man?
I dug this episode a lot. I think two still packs the punches of them all and is the strongest one. I can't necessarily say it's my favorite one just because it broke me. But this one was the one that I was like, I had more fun with it, and yet although I know where the story ends, I was nervous for their well-being. Like, oh shoot, get up there! I kept saying, and I'm like, what am I talking about? I know what's gonna happen, but then again, kudos to the writing, kudos to the production design, and kudos to Bella and Isabel, where I was just like, please get up there, like stop taking your chances when I like go move. I think Jeffrey Wright just comes back, and I think he already has a lot more to do and was given more to do than what he did in the game, just in this episode alone. And I really loved the moment with Ellie up on the rooftop. She's seeing that, and like she's just looking at it, and I could tell instantly without saying a word. She was processing everything. I'm like, okay, I gotta go after them, but damn, the love of my life is pregnant, and what do I gotta do? What do I do? What do I do? So I love that moment for Bella Ramsey, what she did with Ellie. And Isabella has been a highlight. I think they got really, really, really lucky in casting her as Dina. And it was cool to see a lot of the gameplay stuff play out. And I had no issue with the buildup of like revealing a pregnancy and then the love scene. And but then again, this is my first time watching it. We'll see how I feel about it in second, third viewing. But I think this is probably, if not my favorite, my second favorite episode, and the second best one of the season thus far. Yeah, and also the guitar scene. That's
it was great. It was so great.
What was your rating, though?
I'll give it an A. Maybe A minus, but I'll go an A. Yeah, I think it's better than the last episode.
Damn.
All right. So for me, my biggest gripe, honestly, was the execution of the reveal of the pregnancy. I can imagine in a world where you love this girl, you've been holding a gun in her head all night long. Do I think that after the fact that she realized, like, crap, she's not gonna die, I probably would have broke down crying, right? If I was her, and like I was gonna kill you. I was gonna kill you, and I didn't. I probably would have killed myself or something like that, saying something like that from a written standpoint. And then, like, slowly Ellie come up to her and just hold her, right? And then they intimately kiss, and then it proceeds something. Not her having pulled the gun on her and then immediately going up and kiss this girl. I think that is the difference in subtlety with pacing as far as the game versus like transition. And I think that you could have had that intimate moment, and then they wake up, they hearing something going on, they go up to the roof, and then Dina's like, look, there's something else I got to tell you. I didn't have time because I was scared all last night, but I found out I was pregnant. And then like show her the pregnancy test. And then Ellie like, are you sure? She just throws all the pregnancy tests down there. I promise you. What do you want to do? And then Ellie hadn't made that choice. And then you end the episode. That's how I would have written it. But again, like I've directed before, I've written before. So that was their choice to do it the way they did. Outside of that, I had no issue with anything else in this episode. I thought it was great. I enjoyed Jeffrey Wright's introduction. I think that this episode had one of the best moments in the whole entire series. This was really well done as far as the tension and the action. This is my second or third favorite episode of the season thus far. I think it's my second favorite because the first episode I think it did a really good job of maintaining things that were needed for Abby's story. But the second episode, of course, is the best. Third episode, it gave really great context with even a slow burn. But from an intensity standpoint, like this is my second favorite episode. But I do think that I do question how this is going to turn out. But I've had that question from the beginning. Like this wasn't a red flag. I just felt now like this is something that I've questioned how they're going to round out the season 2 in general. But I think they just should have written the pregnancy and the transition better, and I think it'd have been a better episode. This should have been an A+ episode, but it's a A- or a B+ for me. But yeah,
interesting.
7 episodes is crazy. They're crazy.
I mean, the first one was 9 or 8, right? 8, right? First season.
I think so.
First season was 9 episodes.
It was 9. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least we're getting a third season. We're gonna go, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're gonna give a shout out to our soldier in the background, Ty. He didn't make it. The infected got him. But we'll be back for 5. And if you guys don't know, we do have Bottles and Bricks, where we go deep into the lore of The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2. We will be talking a lot more spoiler-free things in relation to the game and breaking up some certain things and threads that Jorge has unearthed in front of us right here today that he unfortunately can't be a part of. But thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back a little bit later on. It is late. We gotta go to bed. Peace, y'all.
Filing out the top of
I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline. Ain't nothing on my mind.